Hello, and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan, and today, we are doing an 100 Experts video for the week. Yeah, we're back with a 100 Experts video, and today it's going to be pretty interesting, because there's chips being used, there's crazy amounts of transfers being used. You're going to see in a second, guys. It really is quite wild. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to want to know more about what the experts are doing in terms of wildcards. So, I'll tell you what, guys. If this video gets 2,000 likes, what I'll do is I'll release a second video, a part 2, where we will make a squad using the average wildcard. So, we'll add all of the players from all of the wildcards together, and we'll create the perfect 100 Experts wildcard team, which is going to take a while, which is why I want to know, first of all, if you want me to make it. I'm not just going to make it if it's something that you're not interested in. So hit the like button and subscribe, of course, if you are new around here, you want to see that. So yeah, guys, let's have a look at the experts first of all. So here they are, all 100 names in all their glory, experts, pundits, content creators, and the like. Thank you so much to all of these people for supplying their data of what they're up to this week. They have been sharing their captaincy data, what chips they're using, what transfers they're making. They've provided me so much information that we can share with you guys and hopefully help us to make our own decision based on our own team. So let's have a look at that. So here we go, guys. So 5% are making one transfer. So not very many. Not very many are making just one transfer. 28% are making 2 transfers. 20% of these managers are making 3 or more transfers. And that includes one person who's making 4 transfers this week and one person who is making 5 transfers this week. They said they've never done it before. You know, they're only doing it because it's kind of extreme circumstances where they've just been really unlucky with not having a wild card and having all of these players out. Sometimes you just have to deal with that situation, even if it means taking a minus, what is it, minus 16? Crazy, absolute madness, but it's all part of the game. So yeah, lots of people, lots of our expert FPL managers are going crazy with those transfers. So 45% are using the wild card as well. So that's almost half, but not quite half, maybe slightly less than you guys may have thought. I should say that those who are not using a wild card, a lot of them had already used their wild card. A lot of them are saving their wild card for a future game week. So there are different reasons why different people are not wild carding, but a lot of people are. You know, it's a good week to wild card. 45% is a huge number. Imagine, like, think how many game weeks there are and then how many wildcards there are for 45% of them to land in one game week. Pretty significant. And we've got 2%, so just 2 of our managers are using the free hit this week. So a few people have asked me, is a free hit a good idea this week? I don't think so personally. This video is not about me. What I can tell you is that 2 out of our 100 experts are using a free hit this week. I don't know if that constitutes a trend necessarily. I don't know if that's really helpful information, but what I can tell you is that 98%, even if that means taking hits, even if that means doing crazy things with their team, even if it means wildcarding, 98% of our FPL expert managers are not wildcarding. So I think that's probably, you know, the takeaway there, if I'm completely honest. What I should say is that you'll notice on screen, 0% of our FPL managers are making 0 transfers. So no one's rolling a transfer, no one's doing nothing, everyone is making transfers. So it really is a pretty extreme game week, and you're going to see just how extreme it is with the amount of crazy numbers that are moving around from our non-wildcarders. So, you know, if you think about how many players are being moved around from our non-wildcarders, it just says it all, really. First of all, guys, let's have a look at the most popular transfers in the world. So this is not our 100 experts, this is in the world. And you can see here, Trippier, Pope, De Bruyne, Mitrovic. There's some popular players on there that I'm sure you're not too surprised to see on there, to be honest. What I should say, though, guys, is that the numbers of transfers this week are pretty low. Usually would see a few players over 500,000 transfers in this week, particularly on a game week where a lot of people are wildcarding. These numbers should be really, really high. So what it looks like is that people are maybe disenfranchised, disengaged with the game. Have people given up on FPL? People are just not making transfers, not making moves. So, I mean, if you're having a poor season so far, maybe this is kind of a positive thing for you. Maybe a lot of people in the FPL world have given up after last game week's cancellations and have moved on to do other things with their lives, maybe, because the numbers of the quantities here of transfers is much lower than we've seen in previous game weeks, significantly lower. You know, these numbers should be way, way higher at this point in the week, but we move. There's a lot of uncertainty. I can understand why people are kind of feeling disengaged or disappointed or just kind of can't be bothered with FPL anymore, because it does seem to be like one of those seasons. Let me know what you think about that, guys. But let's have a look to see if there is any correlation between what we're seeing here and our experts, and I can tell you there is. So pretty much all of these players are also being heavily transferred in by experts. Trippier, Pope, De Bruyne, Mitrovic, Isak, Perisic, Kane, Bowen and Son, all significant interest in those players. There is one player on here that none of our experts are bringing in. You probably can guess who that's going to be, because it's Marcus Rashford. Obviously, he doesn't have a fixture this game week, and I know a lot of people are still probably going to bring in Marcus Rashford because they want to buy him for the future or whatever. It's not really what an expert would do. An expert would not be buying in Rashford, maybe on a wild card and put them on the bench on a wild card, but, you know, zero interest in Rashford. You can see that the only reason why Rashford has such high numbers here anyway is probably because people transferred in Rashford very, very early in the game week, kind of just not really anticipating that the game would be called off. Maybe got a little bit impatient, maybe jumped the gun a little bit there and went early in Rashford, in which case disappointing, I guess, but maybe they've got that wild card to correct it. Whatever. But there we go, guys. Those are the most popular transfers in. Cancelo, Gordon, not really too much interest in those players. Most people have Cancelo. If you want Cancelo, you probably already got him, to be fair. Gordon, bit of a weird one. Just not many people are interested in Gordon, to be fair. Among our experts, that's pretty much it. All right, our expert data. Who is being transferred out? Well, Salah. Yeah, the big transfer out is Salah. So I've got it out of 53 here. So that excludes all of our wildcarders and all of our free hitters. So just those managers who are using their normal transfers. And those of you guys watching this who are just not on a wildcard this week, you're just making normal transfers, I'm hoping this is going to really help you out, because there's been so much wildcard content out there this week. Not very much stuff for the non-wildcarders. So I'm hoping this is going to help you out a little bit, guys. But yeah, Salah, it looks like he should be your #1 priority player to transfer out. We've got here, 53 people, 31 out of 53, so more than half of our experts are moving Salah out. I can tell you through having a scan through the wildcard teams that I have seen that Salah is not in very many of them either. So Salah out seems to be pretty much a pretty high priority move right there. And you can also see some other Liverpool players in there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously very expensive. Liverpool still not keeping clean sheets, even in Europe. Luis Diaz there as well. A lot of people transferring him out. Not sure how I feel about that one. Luis Diaz has been in decent form, but doesn't have a fixture. The fixtures after the fact that he doesn't have a fixture are like weak fixtures, bad fixtures. I can kind of understand it. Robertson is in there as well. I put here all players transferred out by 4 or more, because if we did the 3, like if I included players that were transferred out by 3 experts, then the list just gets ridiculous. So we've just done 4 or more. So these are the real strong trends of players being taken out. But you will notice here, we've got Archer in there. And the other players being transferred out are players like Sam Greenwood and Stansfield and any other 4.5 million-ish forward. They are being sold like crazy. So in a way, yes, Salah is the most popular transfer out. But the second most popular transfer out seems to be the cheap forward, the bench forward, because everyone is moving to that 3-man forward formation. And I think that's also kind of reflected by the fact that Jesus is being transferred out by 4 people as well. He's being removed. Lots of people are being removed. People want Haaland, they want Kane, they want Mitrovic, they want Isak, they want Ivan Toney as well. So many players from in the forward position are very desirable right now, which means we can't be wasting a slot on Archer. We can't be wasting a slot on a Stansfield. We need to get our forwards in there. A couple other players in here, obviously, guys. Pascal Gross, Sanchez, and Trossard, the 3 Brighton men. None of those guys have fixtures, so you can kind of understand why people are transferring out players who don't have fixtures. Brighton's fixtures aren't great after that either. So, yeah, maybe you can replace some of your Brighton guys as well. But the priority seems to be remove those Liverpool players. But who, guys, are we going to replace him with? Well, let me tell you, it's De Bruyne. I was kind of surprised by this. Like, the reason I love making these videos so much is because they always throw up little surprises that I didn't even really see coming myself. I did not see De Bruyne being such a popular transfer in. Now, is that just because Salah is a popular transfer out that has kind of made De Bruyne a popular transfer in by default? I mean, 18 out of 53, that is just significant, but it's not like everyone is transferring in De Bruyne. There's a real wide range of different players being transferred in, but De Bruyne, up there with Trippier, joint favourite player to bring in on those normal transfers. transfer. So, you know, straight away, guys, you can see there's a very easy switch there. Kind of Salah to De Bruyne, really easy to do. Trippier is by far the most popular of the defenders there. But there is one more defender in there that I want you to kind of keep an eye on. Emerson, which is kind of a little bit of a differential there. Not too many people thinking about him in the wider FPL space, but a few experts do have their eye on Emerson. Obviously, Perisic is in there as well. We often see Perisic in and around. I do have my doubts about that one. Played 90 minutes in Europe. Is he going to play at the weekend? I don't know. We got Mitrovic in there, obviously, as well. So Mitrovic is the most popular forward. I know a lot of people have been asking in the comment section this week, who should I go for? Should we go for Mitrovic? Should we go for Isak? Should we go for Tony? Well, Mitrovic seems to be target number 1 by quite some margin. So maybe that is going to answer your question for you. We've got Jared Bowen in there. I know he hasn't scored any FPL points really this season so far, but we know he's a fantastic player. His price has dropped quite significantly, and West Ham have some really nice fixtures as well. So I do think Bowen could be one to watch. I know he's a little bit of there's a little bit of hype going round about him. Maybe you can consider going for him just because of the price, the fixtures, and we know the history. Like last season for Bowen, what was he, the 3rd or the 4th highest scoring player in the entirety of FPL? That doesn't happen by accident. We've got Son in there as well. A few people taking a punt on Son over Kane. Bailey making a return. San Maximan, which is an interesting one. A few people think that San Maximan is going to be fit, is going to be available, ready for the weekend. So if you want to go in on those Newcastle attackers, then San Maximan is definitely one of those players you should be having a look at alongside Isak, as long as he is fit. So far, it looks like, you know, there's a good chance of him being fit for the weekend. So just bear that in mind. Not a lot of people in the wider world are transferring in San Maximan because they are worried, because there is a Dorito of death, a reasonably spicy Dorito of death right next to his name in the FPL app, which puts a lot of people off. But do your research, guys. Maybe you'll find out a little trinket for you there, and just various other players in there as well. Pope may be worth a shout out. Once again, the most popular goalkeeper transfer in. But with that all said, guys, let's suggest some transfers before we finally move on to the captains. Alright, so first load of suggested transfers include some Liverpool players. So Salah to De Bruyne or Salah to Son seem like real straightforward switches. If you don't want to mess about with your formation too much, or you've already got all the forwards you want, then you're probably going to need to find another premium midfielder to get. And De Bruyne and Son are the popular ones for good reason, because they're pretty much the only 2 ones you can go for. But yeah, De Bruyne, if you want to double up on that Man City attack, obviously Man City are scoring a crazy amount of goals right now. They're scoring over 3 goals per game at the moment on average, which is a serious numbers. And those goals are going to come from the likes of Haaland. They're going to come from the likes of De Bruyne, maybe Phil Foden as well. I know a few of our experts are transferring in Phil Foden this week. So yeah, good pick. Son, a little bit more risky, a little bit more speculative, just because Son's form has not been the best recently. I'm sure you guys will probably agree if you've watched Son this season, he's been a little bit disappointing. But that said, you know, he can always turn it around. Things will turn around. The game next for Son is against Leicester. It's a fantastic fixture for him. And Son, we've seen a little price drop, 11.7. We know what he has done historically. Maybe form is not everything. I mean, it's quite important, but for some people, they're happy to take a risk and try and play a little bit speculatively and hope that Son gets back to business. I mean, we could say the same thing about Bowen, to be fair. The difference is Bowen is a little bit cheaper than Son, so maybe it's less of a risk. I don't know, guys. Trent Alexander-Arnold down to Trippier looks good as well, particularly if you want to free up a little bit of money, take the money away from the premium defence. The premium defence is just not really played this week, this season so far. It's just not worked out. The people downgrading those expensive defenders and trying to replace them, not like for like, but doing a significant downgrade with the view to upgrade other areas of their pitch. So that's a good little transfer move you can consider as well. Luis Diaz, another Liverpool player. He could be shifted to Jared Bowen, potentially. We've spoken about him a little bit already in this video, so I won't go on too much. Pascal Gross up to a San Maximan, maybe, if you've got a little bit of money in the bank. Very popular among our experts. And obviously, Sanchez to Pope could be a good move. You know, if you've got Sanchez, then you probably don't have a goalkeeper for this week, particularly if you know, you don't count the Leicester goalkeepers as goalkeepers, in which case you're going to need a goalkeeper. So Sanchez to Pope. So basically, Liverpool players, Brighton players, sell them off, buy some replacements. And one more thing I should mention in terms of suggested transfers, reiterate what I kind of said earlier on. If you've got a 4.5 million forward, if you've got an Archer or a Sam Greenwood or a Lyle Taylor or a Stansfield, whoever you've got, Plange maybe, whoever you've got, that is a position you want to be upgrading. Take that player up to a Mitrovic. Take that player up to an Isak if you want to go a bit differential. That is also a big suggested transfer and a big trend we've seen this week. it's difficult to put that down as a suggested transfer because you need to have a lot of money free in order to make that upgrade. You're going to need 2, 3, 4 million in order to upgrade one of those, you know, cheap forwards up to a decent forward. But if you can make that happen, if you can free up that cash, whether that's downgrading some of your defenders or downgrading Salah, then I would definitely be doing that. So yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on, as well as these suggested transfers I've put on screen. Also upgrade that that bench forward and get that third forward man in your team. That's what the experts are doing. All right, guys, finally onto the captains. We've got an obvious player first. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're used to this by now. But yes, dear friend Erling is once again top of the captain picks for Game Week 8. He plays against Wolves, which is, I mean, arguably not the best fixture in the world. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter how good the fixture is when you've got a player like Erling Haaland, like the best striker in the world right now. I think everyone would probably say that he probably is that, right? Yeah, he's in such good form. He's been playing so fantastically that it's really kind of difficult to ignore him no matter who he's playing. If he was playing Liverpool, if he was playing, you know, Arsenal or you know, Manchester United or whoever else, you're not really going to have too much of a problem captaining Haaland against anyone. So I think that's kind of reflected with our experts. They kind of, you know, we have got to a stage here where it's just permanent captain Haaland and see what you can do with the rest of your team. The rest of your team is what should make the difference, perhaps. So yeah, if you're not sure who to captain this week, Haaland is very much the default, the obvious answer, the no-brainer answer. Don't even think about it. No point. Just go for it. It's safe. Everyone else is doing it anyway. There's no risk attached to going for Haaland captain. Maybe not as many points to be gained, but do you really want to bet against this man? I don't know. Yeah, I've kind of learnt my lesson on that one. I'm not going to lie. Kane as well. He's a really good pick. He's probably the only other pick with any significant weight behind him among our experts. 13% going for Kane versus Leicester. We know that Kane has a phenomenal record against Leicester. We know Leicester are in absolute dire straits, playing so poorly at the moment, really weak. And you know, it seems like on paper a match made in heaven. And if it wasn't for Erling Haaland, I have no doubt that Harry Kane would be a clear favourite captain for this week. A few other differentials here. Two percenters. Mitrovic versus Forest. Son versus Leicester. If you'll fancy a little punt on one of those guys, then maybe that's an option as well. A couple of our experts are doing those little punts there. And there's a few other players on 1% as well that are probably not worth mentioning. You know, 1% is definitely not a trend. And this video is all about expert trends. Arguably 2% is not a trend either, but I just wanted to show you a couple of differentials, if nothing else. So there we go, guys. Those are the expert captains. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like. Don't forget, if this video hits 2,000 likes, I will upload a video where I will record every single one of the wildcard drafts from our experts, and I will combine the data from that to build the ultimate wildcard team, the ultimate expert wildcard template. Share that with you guys, and hopefully that will be useful, I guess. Do subscribe if you want to see that as well, and turn on those notifications. And yeah, a few other videos I've made this week if you want to go check them out. We've still got my wild card to come. I'll upload that at some point if anyone wants to see that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We've still got to do a strategy stream at some point this week. I'll get onto it at some point. Right, there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.